call this emergency school board meeting into order as per RSA 91-A:2, Roman numeral 2. We have an issue that we're going to hear about from our facilities manager, a couple issues. And it's about do we postpone the start of school? So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you all join me. Pledge. The flag of the United States
of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing none. The action item is the school calendar and the start of school. So we have some issues. Go for it.
If I may start off. So as we've updated the community, the teachers, all of you, it's online in the paper as well, that we have had some recent situations. One that was flooding in the SAU. That actually happened a couple times. That will be pertinent to another piece of what we talk about, as well as due to some significant humidity and bringing the humidity into the schools. Several of our rooms, approximately 21 or so across the district, RMS, JGS, and this school right here, mostly on the high school side of things, did have some mold that was growing on the carpets. Now that all those areas are currently either cleaned and remediated with all the right processes and the right means of doing so, or in this school in particular, is going to continue on to the weekend to do that. Regardless, we had brought in an individual to come and test these spaces, and that individual is coming back early next week. The situation really is not so much that the person can't come in on Monday to test, but getting those results from those tests are very unlikely to come back on that Monday. I was hoping that we were going to be able to, at least for the elementary schools, because we were a lot further along in the process, be able to get them to come in today and do that testing, with a hope that if we had to do anything, we would be able to start on time with our elementary schools and then switch, maybe do something different with the middle school, high school if we had to, because we knew that testing was going to have to take later on a later date. But as that comes into play, we have an unencumbered day for the teachers who are needing to have that day to be in their classrooms to set things up. Even then, we wouldn't be in the classrooms. We have people who haven't been in their classrooms to set these on these days to set up their classrooms and so forth. In elementary, that takes a long time. Perhaps it doesn't take quite as long at the school, at the middle school or high school level. People want to make sure that they're ready. So not only are we not going to get the test results in time for when people come in, most likely anyway, if those results tell us that we need to do some further steps, we wouldn't have time to do those further steps. We are prepared to do any other steps. That's the positive thing. We would be asking at this point in time for even just the mold purposes to be pushing the start of school off by some time, and to make sure that we are ready and that we have all our testing coming back in a positive way. Not positive testing, but in a desirable manner. we don't want positive testing. Coupled with that, I mentioned the flooding earlier. We have the rains we had a lot of rain and did some serious damage, and it damaged other aspects of our facility. And so we have uncovered, we believe, the cause and where all the reasons why the flooding happened, which of course was damaged by the water intake that was coming in. And we need to fix it. Because if we don't, if we have any more rain, it's going to happen again. So this is preventable, that needs to be done, and that's going to take a few days to do. So I'll let John talk more about both scenarios.
Yeah, I'll start with the piping issue. Obviously, that it caused a horrific amount of damage. But when the heavens opened up and let all those rain down, it came down hard for a long, long, long time. That force of water going through the pipes, it's like a 6-inch pipe that runs down the hallways. It's roof drains, and when roof drains drop, they drop water hard and fast. And there's 3 different pipes that it affected. One of them was the middle pipe, which was the SAU pipe that comes down and it actually drains out here to the left. I don't know if you can see that, but off to my left. And it comes into a joint junction box of 3 different pipes, because there's 3 different drain pipes that come in 3 different directions. That middle pipe, we finally found, it took a while to find it, was a joint underneath this gym that actually had collapsed at the joints. And it was just sucking in water, it was sucking in gravel around it, and it actually created a sinkhole underneath the gym. So we had to dig, and we actually had to hydro dig, which means with water, high pressure water, to dig the holes to go down there and find the pipe, and we found it, and it was plummeted. I also had suspicions of another area, and that was taken care of from last week. I had suspicion over here at the other corner on the CHS parking lot side, because I knew there were some water issues in the locker room, boys' locker room. So I said, look, while you're here, you really need to take a look, because I don't like to do things twice. They went and dug down a hydro to about 6 to 7 feet, and sure enough, at the junction box of all 3 drain pipes, that was also collapsing. So if we had looked at it, eventually that water would back right up again, all the way up, and cause the damage all over again. So, and they're clay pipes, they're old pipes.
They're old.
Yes. And my understanding, other parts of the building as well, not just the SAU, because of
Oh,
the,
right.
because of the bath, the boys' locker
Locker
rooms,
room,
locker room
right.
areas around there. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they need at least 3-4 days to take care of the most recent situation, which they can start next week, because we just found this out as of yesterday, today. So we need at least, and when they come in with their big back trucks and so forth, they're going to be blocking, because where the location is, this can be blocking the turnaround, and the parents drop off the students who come through, they have to block that off, because that's where the trucks have to be, because that's where the window is for them to put the hoses in. So that, requires to have time to do that. Can they do it after hours or weekends? Possibly a whole lot more work.
And more
And a lot
time.
longer.
And it's not a guarantee that that can happen.
No. So, I mean, they're here, they've done the work, some of the equipment's still here, now's the time to get it.
So are there other potential spots that we should be checking?
I don't want to say no, but there's pipes all underneath this entire building. We've hit the main roof drain that comes in this area, but there's a freeway of these clay pipes underneath the building.
Right, so I know we had some folks here with cameras.
Right.
I'm just wondering, and I'm not saying, let's just keep going and put school off, but I'm just wondering if we should be planning some more kind of camera work to just get a better understanding of the condition of the pipes,
Well,
since they are old.
we can, they're old. The only thing is being clay pipes and cast pipes, because they're back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, that anywhere, mostly in the joints is where you have the problems.
Okay.
They know we have what kind of pipes we have, and they know they can't guarantee 100% that something's not going to happen, because there's weight on these pipes. It's been weight on them for 50 years.
Right.
Can any of them break? They can. Are there other joints that they haven't seen yet? Straight joints. It's usually the corner joints that have the problem. They took care of 2 of the corner joints right now. The rest of them are straight. Could those eventually break? They could, but not as likely as the joints.
Okay.
So we're taking care of those joints right now. It's just everything in the building is just very old.
Yeah.
And this is what happens. So we're trying to take care of the 2 that we know about after they cambered all the way up to SAU, and in between SAU and the other 2 pipes that come up from the roof. So we know they're clean, except for where we know that there's the problem, which is at the end of the joint. So that's one reason of needing time and days to get it done right. Otherwise, it'll be kind of a mess out there if we did.
Well, the possibility is if it's going to, I believe the company said, this was going to cause problems again.
Oh, yeah, if we don't take care of it.
If we don't
no
do it again,
question
if
it would be
we
fucked.
have the exact same issues again, we're gonna have to,
Right.
not have school during that time frame.
Right.
And the damage.
So we'd like not to do that either, and make sure that we
Better
take care
not
of what we know.
To do it now before things get rolling
Right,
rather than
yeah.
disrupt.
It did some significant damage, as you were aware.
And the other reason that we need some extra time, we know on the paving side of things, over on the silo side where the road goes, and by the silo around to the back, there are groundwater issues. It's not piping issues, but it's groundwater issues, especially with all the rain that we've had. The ground, that is not like a flat level area. This whole place is not flat level. So there's a steeper grade towards the silo area that goes towards the back, and then it goes up. So there's like a belly in between,
Right.
and that groundwater, when it hits that belly, it doesn't know where to go but up. So what's happening is that water will wick it up to the top, and now that we put base over that asphalt, it's making that base almost like a little wave when we have a lot of water. My suggestion is, and it's going to take a few days, that we should run a 400-foot trench, pipe it, bring it out to the over the edge of the property in the back, to be able to take all that water that is accumulating out there and just send it off to the back so it doesn't make it into a wave. And the problem that you have if you don't do it, depending on the winters and the spring of the frost heaves, that may start buckling and cracking.
Right. So when you say to the back,
That specific job is not something that would halt us from having school or not
No.
having school.
Right.
It would be done, however, we would be saying that is another example of a situation dealing with water and so forth, which is what this is all having to deal with.
And
to-
all the
to
equipment is
take care
here.
of it,
Well,
and the
cheaper
equipment's
now than
here,
later.
yeah. So it's kind of like do it at the same time anyway.
right.
So,
So just taking where this low point is and doing a drain and sending it out towards our bank out back.
Right, underground, about 3 or 4 feet down from the silo. I want to back it up a little bit so I capture all the water.
Right.
Just bring it all the way to the back, to the bank.
And that will keep water also from going down because it's downhill there also to the neighbors.
It'll capture all the groundwater that's
Okay.
below. And
Okay.
Just bring it to the back so it doesn't come to the surface.
Okay.
And you want to talk about another thing?
if you'd like to talk about, I mean, basically, I don't think there's anything else to add to the mold issue, is that
All right.
we basically need time to test. I mean, once again, this weekend, there's work that's gonna be done. People are coming in and they're doing this building right here. Tests on Monday, that's gonna take, he's gonna go around to all of the schools like he did with us the other day. And then he'd like to expedite the process and maybe hear back Monday night. It's not even close to being,
I won't count on it. but we'll
in
try.
actuality, like it's gonna happen. So most likely the next day would be the fastest we find that information. And we would need time if there's a situation where there's air, because it's both the carpet and air that he tests.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that if there's anything else that we need to do, we
can
have time to
remediate
be
it.
able to do that.
And we still need to
in those
hopefully allow teachers time.
Right.
Well, and so, yes, for those 20 to 21 individuals who have not been in
Able to.
their rooms at all. Yeah, that's quite a bit of work. Yeah.
Discussion. Are there creative options? And how long are we thinking here? Are we thinking a week? Are we thinking 2 weeks? First of all, the latter.
Sure. So I'll tell you exactly what I would be looking for and how we came about with the time frame. So I would be looking to start on the Tuesday after Labor Day, so 1 week exactly. What we would end up doing for the calendar purposes, so that we don't take all those days and push them all to the end of the year. We would take the first March PD day, whatever that Monday is, and then the October PD day, and put those on those professional development days on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I had a conversation with the association, the teacher association president today, and he went back to the association leadership, and then we met a couple hours later. And out of two choices of what I would say gambling to start, this week with a Thursday time frame, or starting the Tuesday, they agreed that starting that Tuesday was a better solution. And that we would tack those 2 days, Thursday and Friday, onto the end of the, I would propose that we would tack those 2 days onto the end of the year. It still remains the same week. It doesn't go into the next week or anything of that nature.
Okay.
I did receive an email when Nick sent out the announcement for this, that person said, why don't we start to do some things remotely? There's a lot of reasons why that would be very difficult. Certainly for the elementary, because people don't have access to a lot of what they need, and it takes an extraordinary amount of time to prepare and start for a remote start for the year.
Right, and last year we worked really hard not to have a remote start for those reasons.
Well, the whole purpose of everything that we've done so far is
It's
to be in
about
person.
be in person,
And it's
yeah.
so school-wise for our learners, they wouldn't go much further into
Right.
the school year. And we would be able to, they would go on that Monday in March to school instead of having that day off, for instance.
Right.
And I think it's October 11th date, there would be school on that day. So there'll be no loss of learning time. Understanding this is an inconvenience for
Every
many families. Yep.
lesser evils, it seems so.
Well, again, I said yesterday in the email that we are doing this as quickly as we possibly can, on every level. But we need to make sure that safety is our top priority, and this is one of those where we want to make sure that that's dealt with. And that we also don't cause further damage.
Yeah.
By neglecting situations that we know we can fix.
Any other comments, thoughts?
So if the tests come back showing mold, will we be able to remediate in that time frame?
Yeah, we have been, we have the procedures, we have the equipment, we have the solutions. I think that you went and bought out every single bit of the solution recommended by the company that we were working with.
Every store.
To every store in the area of this. Yeah, we have the capacity to do these things. There's always a level of mold and anywhere with carpets. It's you can't go past a certain level. So we want to make sure that we are doing the right thing, and that and the reason why we don't have people going in there right now, rooms have been cleaned, but we don't want people walking in and tracking or spreading from one area to another area. And that's why we've condensed, we've made sure that people haven't gone into certain areas so that we don't have 10 more rooms, for instance, that we have to deal with.
If you are putting off having students come in until Tuesday, can you also put off having teachers and staff come in and do your PD days elsewhere, Monadnock Christian Ministries, someplace else, so that you're not putting them at the same risk, the space at the same risk? If you're asking students not to be here, why are you asking all the 100 staff to be here?
Because those rooms are sealed off. The one part of the issue is that we have a lot of, when you bring in hundreds of learners in here and you have 20 spaces that you're not able to use, that makes for a bigger problem. The teachers have enough space to be able to work in groups in other rooms on curriculum and things of that nature. Plus, those who have their rooms available to them right now can work on those areas. And if we get the test results, and we find out that some of those rooms don't really need any more further work, those people can get in and start working on those, and they haven't had the opportunity to. So being here benefits them.
And the tracking. is not an issue.
Certainly, if we had a desire to do some work in other areas, like a church in an area or something like that, we could certainly pursue that, but I don't think that
The numbers are small enough, we can do it with the space that's
I
available.
think we're fine, yes, yeah. The issue would be if they went into the rooms and then spread, so there is risk, obviously, because someone can, when people are there, they can go in. But,
Hopefully they follow directions.
but the directions are there, yeah, yeah.
Charlie?
So the intent then is to use 2 days of next week for Tuesday and Wednesday as PD days.
Mhm.
Thursday and Friday, nothing.
Thursday and Friday would be non-work days,
Okay, and then you're gonna tack on 2 days at the end of the school year.
that's correct.
So do we need to tack those 2 days on, or will we get by with hours?
You can get by with hours with all the schools, if you were not to tack those 2 days on.
So,
If we don't miss other time frame during the school year.
I know we got snow days, so,
Sure.
uh, I'd be inclined to put those on tentatively if we need them.
So
Okay.
tentative days, so keep the last day, and only use those next 2 days if needed.
If needed.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna, Patty?
Hi, I like that solution, and so I'd like to make a motion.
Okay,
So I would like to make a motion to go with the proposed adjustment to the calendar with the start of school on September 7th, with the change of professional development days for the teachers to be next Tuesday and Wednesday, the 31st and the 1st, with the last 2 days at the end of the year to be tentative. And I don't know the dates of those 2 days, I'm sorry.
15th and 16th of June.
The 15th and 16th of June.
Currently, the 14th, I believe, is
the last day.
set as the last day, yeah. And the professional development days would be the Monday of that March, I believe it's March 9th, but it could be 10th. And the October 11th day.
So
Will be
those
switched.
days will be.
Those will be school days.
School
School
days
days.
instead of professional development days.
Yeah.
And I'll clarify that includes kindergarten K through 12, so grades K through 12.
Pre-K.
Pre-K, so what would end up
Pre-K.
happening, this is important.
That's what I meant,
basically,
pre-K.
what would take place would be at the I'm not sure there's as much of a need to clarify at the secondary level. I think, the switch is just literally just 1 week later, pushing it back 1 week.
Right.
For the elementary schools, both in Ringe and in Jaffrey, there's kindergarten, kind of an open house. There's the first day of kindergarten, first day of preschool. Whatever those dates are for next week, they would be exactly pushed one
One
whole week into the future. Yeah, so the
Okay.
following week.
Okay,
So it would be the same schedule as next week, but the following week.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we'll put communication out after whatever is decided here, after this meeting, so that is out there and people know about it as soon as they possibly can.
okay, so we have a motion. Do we have second, Charlie? All right, thank you. All those, well, I'll have to do roll call vote because we have someone remote. So Lisa? Aye. Christine?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
And Patty?
Aye.
And I say aye, so that passes 5. And there's no one here to say no or oppose or abstain, so 5-0-0. And we've changed the calendar. All right, so we have public comments. We have some public. I don't know if anyone has any comments. Okay, thank you. Susan?
Yeah, that discussion, Right now, right now it's kept that way. I suppose we could have some further conversation, but that would be a conversation with the
I was gonna say, that's not
association.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
association.
So, and we did not change the unencumbered day.
Can I ask about food service? I don't know if it was planned for, especially like even at the elementary level, food being available for families to pick up. I don't know if does this affect food that might go rotten? Is it possible to get lunch, and you know how we have the free lunches and breakfast for families? Is it possible to keep that in place so families could come and get food during that week?
So I don't have an answer for you right now. We would need to have conversations with our bus company and with the food service anyway, even just to let them know the
What's
decision
happening.
that was just made. So certainly, they receive emails and updates of what we're doing, but we would need to be able to, they would be some of the first people we have a conversation with. I don't know as though our food service would be set up to do that this time.
So Nick, is there anyone who's attending remote?
Yeah, there is.
Okay,
So yeah, I can get my little, my thing real quick. So yeah, anybody who's attending remotely, you do have the ability to public comment. All you have to do is use the hand raise feature at the bottom of your screen. You push that, I'll get a little hand. I then have the ability to acknowledge you, and we can, have your public comment. Before you make the public comment, please just use your first name, last name, town of residence. Make sure you're a resident of Jaffrey or Ringe, and just try to keep it on topic and as brief as possible. So I will start allowing people one by one, and I'll just call you out by name. First, we have Storm.
okay.
Can you hear me, Nick?
Yep. Hi.
Yep.
Okay, hi everybody. I just have a quick question that I didn't quite understand. So the start date for preschool and kindergarten will be,
Does she need to identify and where?
oh,
she's from?
sorry,
Yeah.
Storm
Yeah,
Meadows,
yeah, yeah.
Jaffrey.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry, Storm Meadows, Jaffrey. I just assumed you'd know, but I'm sorry. So preschool and kindergarten start date, is that the Thursday or is that the Wednesday? Because we purposely started on Thursday. Well, anyways, Thursday would be a better start date, so I was just confused about that.
I think we said exactly 1 week, right?
Yeah,
So
so.
our original start date was on a Tuesday, so.
And so our next start date is on a Tuesday as well.
Oh,
And so it
thank you,
falls
Nick.
to-
Thank you, Ruben. I'm
Yeah,
good.
so yeah, it's all same days, but the 7 days
Later.
forward. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, next we have Jennifer Clark.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Clark. I live in Jaffrey. I have 3 children in the school district. I understand the delaying of school by the week and everything that's going on. I am asking the school board for this reason. I questioned the remote learning last time, and this is for that specific reason. If you have anything that happens in the school, that would be an excellent backup plan. And I think that the school board should be discussing that more at length. If we had that in place, problems such as this, kids could go right to remote learning. This is an issue that I think should be discussed. And especially if we're going to find further issues down the road, well, considering the amount of rain we've had this year, if we are going to have further issues down the road, that may be a valid option.
Yep, thank you. I think we said that at the last board meeting that we were going to be looking at when it would be appropriate to use remote and have a plan for that. So thanks.
All right, next we have Adam Hurd.
Yeah, my name's Adam Hurd, Range, New Hampshire. Got 3 kids in the school system. I had a couple questions. The first one was we had an orientation, not an orientation, but it's supposed to be like a welcome thing on Monday for first graders and fourth graders. Are we going to assume that that's going to take place now on Labor Day, or is that just not going to happen?
Are you specifically speaking about RMS, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I do have specific dates from Kelly. It might have been a translation error on my part that things were moved exactly 2 days. So if the board would like me, I could read out those RMS dates as proposed.
Sure, that'd be a good idea.
So this is again, according to Kelly Marcotte, principal of RMS, she said that if proposed a 2 days change, the preschool through grade 5 meet and greet would be conducted on Wednesday, September 1st. First day of school would be on Thursday, September 2nd. Oh, sorry, that's the 2 day change. My apologies. I would have to get further clarification from Kelly specifically on that date change. But what we can do is we can communicate every date change possible in an email based on school location.
Okay. And then I did have just a concern with this whole mold issue happening and it being known about. Why didn't the orientation today get postponed? I put my daughter into the middle school today for orientation. I just kind of wish that this was postponed as well.
Yeah, the areas that are impacted, the students had no access to those areas.
Did you hear that okay, Adam?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah, there was no contact.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, on a side note, those orientations were quite well attended.
All right, next we have Allison.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes?
I just want to say, as one of the teachers affected, there's been a lot of angst and anxiety around here, and we really appreciate it.
Allison?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just full name and town.
Sorry, Allison Marr, Ringe, New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. But it really makes a huge difference to us that we can start the year prepared and safe for kids.
Good.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, next we have Andrea.
Hi, this is Andrea Thane from Ringe. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just wondering what effect, if any, this would have on sports. My daughter is signed up for soccer, so would there be any discussion of the kids still being expected to make it to practices at the same times?
So I haven't had the opportunity to have a conversation with the activities director or athletic director. My understanding is that if the athletics and the schedules are for outside, or if there are games already scheduled, that those could still continue.
Okay, because that would just mean, parents that are at work having to be able to get their kids somewhere at 2:30.
Yeah, and I think your question was whether it's mandatory or not. And so, there would have to be some, we'll have to get that communication out is what we'll have to do. I'll have to have David Springfield or Heather Lindstad be able to address that.
Yeah, that would be great, just because she's
thank
new, she's entering 6th grade, so I'm sure she wouldn't want to miss practices and then start games. So I can get her there as long as I have ample opportunity to make arrangements.
Sure, no, thank you for that. That's a
All
great
right, thanks.
point.
Thank you.
Nick, you had something else?
Yeah, so Kelly Marcotte just sent me a text message. She said the meet and greet would probably be Friday, September 3rd from 2 to 3 p.m. But she will send me a schedule to include in the email that we communicate to parents and families. So
Right. So tentatively, we're looking at Friday, but something will come out that will be more firm. All right. Thanks.
It's more, it's,
Moving parts.
yeah, we'll have to ask her about that one. Yep.
All right, next we have Carrie.
Hi, Carrie Swift, Jaffrey, New Hampshire. Obviously New Hampshire. My question is about the unencumbered day. I think you said it, but I missed it. Is the unencumbered day being moved, or is that going to stay the same?
I think the discussion, we didn't actually have a discussion that with the association, and that it was remaining the same. So Monday is scheduled to be the unencumbered day.
So will there be accommodations made for those 20+ teachers that won't have that day to work in their classrooms?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Thanks, Carrie.
All right, that officially concludes the list of public comments remotely.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Then moving on, number 4, board matters. Does anyone have anything for board matters? How about, thanks everyone who could make it,
Yeah.
for
Wow.
kind of dropping everything and making it so we could do this and make a decision for our families so that they have a bit of time to find their feet and move forward.
And I'm very, yeah, that's really great. I wanted a creative, like, is there a creative solution? And I'm thrilled that the association and you came up with this very fast solution to, make it so that there's least loss of learning. Nicely done.
I think it also helps, even though the JRSSA wasn't at the table at that. And as the contracts go, JREA has a lot of voice in the schedule, the calendar and so forth. So it's always very important to do that. But it also, I think, has a good impact on many of the custodians and maintenance workers who have been put out. It's been very hard, and it gives them a little more time to get their work done.
Kudos.
Yeah, good. Good. All right. Well, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
A motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Lisa. Second? Okay, thank you, Christine. And everyone's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.